Welcome to the Single Father Podcast. I am your host, Kendall Donaker. This podcast is dedicated for anyone out there who's dealing with mental health and fatherhood. You'll hear about my struggles, my defeats, my victories, my highs, my lows, my triumphs, my tribulations, and everything in between. I like to call this a collection of journal entries into my struggle and adapting to single fatherhood. Without further ado, let's take a look inside my journal, the Single Father Podcast. You're listening to The Single Father with Kendall Donaker. Guys, I am really happy about my next guest. He is one of my closest friends. I mean, what can I say? Pro athlete, Tyron Criswell. Amazing guy. He's really always been there for me in college. You go to college and you're new and you don't know a lot of people and you're trying to make friends, and there's this one person that you click with right away, and he's one of them. He is such a nice person, and I'm really excited for him in his career, and I can only hope he goes to the NBA one day. I fully support him, and I hope his career is successful, and we talk a little bit about that and where he's going. And this type of episode isn't something that we do too often. We call it off the script. We just interview interesting people that within the community or different places that we want to just give a shout out to. And how can I not selfishly give a shout out to my boy Tyron Criswell? So for better or for worse, here we go.
Hello.
Hello.
How you doing?
Very, very good. All right, I'm with Tyron Criswell, star at the University of Nevada, Reno. How you doing?
I'm pretty good. How are you?
Amazing. So, this is my first podcast with you. And where did I meet you at? Met you at a bar in Reno, right?
Yeah, we met. I think it was called the Wolf Den at the time. Yeah, so we met there, and that was actually my first year at Nevada.
And that was like 2013. That was like a long time ago.
Yeah, well, 2014.
2014.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just proves that I've been in Reno too long.
All right.
But so tell me, how did you get started in basketball?
Honestly, I just played it a lot when I was little, growing up, and I played football too. And my main sport was actually football, and I didn't really take basketball serious until I would say like ninth grade, when I really started feeling a passion for basketball. So I started shifting more towards basketball over football.
What made you want to do that switch?
Honestly, my mom was a big part of it. My dad was a great football player in college, and he wanted me to play up through high school and that, and I played, and it was just kind of losing passion for it. And then my senior year, I broke my shoulder, and my mom's like, "You getting hurt too much playing football, blah, blah, blah. You gonna play basketball from now on." So when she told me that, I was just like, well, I do kind of like, at this point in my life, I like basketball more, so maybe I should just take basketball more serious or whatever. So that's kind of when I was just like, let me go do this basketball thing instead.
Well, plus you're incredibly tall. I mean, I couldn't imagine like Yao Ming playing football.
I'm not that tall, but okay.
And then, so where did it go from there? So how did you got picked up scholarship wise? What was the first school you went to?
Yeah, so after high school, I had no Division I offers, full rides anyways. I had my dream school out of high school was, I always wanted to go to Kansas, the University of Kansas, and I contacted their coaching staff coming out of high school, and they were saying all they could offer me at that time was a half ride. And knowing the financial problems that my family had at the time, I couldn't afford to take out loans and stuff. So I had a lot of junior colleges. I had a lot of Division II full ride scholarship. So I was like, maybe I'll just take one of those. So I went to junior college because, like I said, my goal and dream's always been to go Division I and play in front of a big crowd. So went junior college, pretty unknown junior college called Central Nebraska. Played there for 2 years, averaged 20 both years. I won National Junior College Player of the Year, and then after that, like I had a lot of Division I offers. So my dream came true, and I went to Nevada and continued it.
So, why did you choose Nevada over a lot of these other options?
Honestly, because junior college, as you know, is a 2-year program, and you have a 4-year clock. So you can only be in college for 4 years actually playing. So after junior college, I only had 2 more years. I had like bigger schools like University of Nebraska. I had Auburn. I had West Virginia, Cane Lake. But out of the other bigger schools I had, I know me coming from junior college, I only have 2 years to really try to make it somewhere. And with those bigger schools, they're getting, the top 100 guys like every season. So I didn't want to be put in a situation where I would have to sit the bench and sit behind somebody. And what Nevada was in my ear talking about was I'll play a lot of minutes. I'll stay on the floor and at that. And as a basketball player, that's exactly what you want to hear. You want to hear that you'll get on the floor a lot, and Nevada's a good program. So I figured, why not? So I chose it.
So you really have that hustle in you. I mean, I know some people who just want the scholarship just to go to school, but you really wanted to play.
Right.
And so when you got here, was it Coach Mudd this entire time, or?
No, it was actually my junior year. It was Coach Carter, and he was kind of on the hot seat, which I didn't know about. Being on the hot seat pretty much means like he's had a couple bad seasons prior, so they were looking for a coaching change too. If he didn't change the program around, and as you know, my junior season was not a good season. Like we won like 9 or 10 games, and literally after the last game of the season, he got fired, and he just came into the locker room saying he lost his job and no one else see us again. And that was pretty much it. And that was the last time I seen him. So it was just crazy to be a part of. And then my senior year, that's when Coach Musselman came.
And how was that new dynamic? You have a new coach. You just got there, and the coach that you had just got fired. And when you got there as well, you didn't have a good season. Did it kind of unmotivate you? With this new coach, or how did that work out?
It was a lot. It was a lot going on during the thought process. I was a lot of my friends playing at other schools were kind of in the same situation as me, but they ended up transferring and going other places. Me only having 1 more year, I was honestly thinking about transferring because I didn't know who the new coach was going to be, and I knew it was down to Coach Musselman and another guy. And but I looked at his background and seeing that he was an NBA, a former NBA coach. He's coached all these great colleges, and honestly, when they hired him, I was like, maybe that's a good situation for me because at the end of the day, the goal is to get to the NBA, and he has all this background and he has connects to do so. So that was honestly what made me stay. So, and then when I met him, he just kept it real with me. Just like he told me and another guard that we're seniors on the squad, so it was our team. So our success is what we make it pretty much, and I liked how you put that in our hands.
And you kind of really did that success pretty well. I mean, so when you first got there, it wasn't golden, but when Musk came around, it seems like the team really turned around as well.
Yeah, definitely. He's a great coach. He's just so passionate about this game, and when you have as much passion as that man does, then it's unbelievable what heights he can reach.
So tell me, when did you win? You won the something. Tell me about that.
Yeah, so anytime you're able to play in the postseason, it's a good season, regardless if it's the NCAA tournament, the NIT, the CBI, or a postseason tournament. So obviously, every team, every college wants to make it to the NCAA tournament. You get 64 teams out of the 350 5 or however many college teams there are. So everybody wants that to be their goal. And then the second one is the NIT, pretty much the teams that was right on the bubble but didn't make it, and then the CBI. So we were in the CBI. And it wasn't the first time for Nevada, but I believe it was the first time they actually won it. So I'm in the history books for that. So we got to the CBI, and a lot of my teammates wasn't motivated to really play in it because the goal is to get to the NCAA tournament, which we didn't make it. But eventually, once we we realized we have 3 or 4 more games than anybody else in the country, that's still a good feeling. Because a lot of teams never make it to the postseason. So we made it there. We fought through. We won all the games, and yeah, like you said, I won MVP of that. So it was a great ending of my senior season.
Absolutely. That's a great career. And then from there, you played for the Bighorns.
Yeah, I got drafted to the G League. Unfortunately, when I did, I was battling an injury, so they waived me. So I had to sit out for a little bit to heal up. And then I eventually went to go play in the CBA, which is an American Pro League that I played in Illinois for. And I won the MVP of that as well, coming off that injury. So, and then after I got a chance to go overseas, I went to Israel and played there and was doing really well there. I was averaging big numbers. We was 18-0 when I was there, and then unfortunately again I broke my foot. So I've been kind of battling injuries the last 2 years, and I just got cleared not too long ago to play this game again. About a month and a half ago, I got cleared again. So now I'm just back on the grind and seeing what's next for me.
I mean, you're really hustling. So, I mean, MVP, having all these job offers. How close do you think you are to NBA status? Because
Um,
before you went to American League, you had a little something you're dealing with. And, we went off to talk about that. We went through it. You really hustled out of it, and so you came a long way and really proved your credits. So what do you think is next?
Yeah, I mean, definitely proves quite a bit so far. The goal is definitely to make it to the NBA, and I'm not going to give up until I get there. And even when I do get there, I still want to succeed while I'm there. Right now, I would say I have a lot of G League workouts, and I have 2 more NBA ones coming up that I'm really excited for. And I had a Dallas Maverick one not too long ago, like 3 weeks ago now, and I got some feedback from them, and so hopefully it's going up. I also have some overseas situations still going on, but at the end of the day, I want to stay in the States and either play in the NBA G League for this coming season or crack an NBA roster.
So wheels are turning.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, it's interesting talking to someone who, goes to all these different places, but when I set up camp in a student apartment or the dorms or something like that, I really try to make it my home. I mean, you see my room, I put posters all over the place and everything like that. So how does it feel for someone in your position who is never really, in the lack of better words, you're just traveling around all the time. So I don't think you have time to put posters up or anything like that. I mean, that you could be going here or there at any moment.
Yeah, it's kind of tough, especially, when you don't really know exactly where you're going and when you could go, because the way overseas works is if it's a good offer, if it's a good offer, I'll take it. But the thing is, like overseas works, they'll call you up, they'll call you or your agent, say we're really interested, we want to bring you in for this amount of money for 6, 7 months or however long, but we need you by Friday. You know what I'm saying? So it's Tuesday now. That means you would only have 72 hours to get there. Like get all your stuff ready, pack up, and you're out. They only give you a few days to get there because they need you like ASAP. So that's the tough thing about overseas. But overseas is a great experience for sure. But yeah, like I think it's a little easier for me because I have a great supporting cast back in Reno because I do have an apartment out there still. And so that helps me for when I do need to go back home and kind of settle down for a little bit until basketball picks back up, So, but during the summer, yeah, like you said, I'm traveling everywhere. Been in Arkansas, Dallas, and then I go to DC on Thursday, and then New York, and then Canada, and then LA. So I'm all over the place.
Well, if nothing else, I mean, you get to travel all these places, and that's an experience alone.
Right.
Closest thing I had to that is I was living in the Highlands with my dog. It's an apartment complex in Reno, and they found out that I had my dog without paying for it. They said leave by Friday, so that's the closest thing I had to where you're going.
If you haven't heard about Anchor by Spotify, it's the easiest way to make a podcast with everything you need in one place. Let me explain. Anchor has the tools to allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. When hosting on Anchor, you can distribute your podcast on listening platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and more. It's everything you need in one place. And best of all, Anchor is totally free. Download the Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started.
But let's talk about that family dynamic. You said you have a really good supporting cast in Reno. That, and I know your mom's not in Reno, but
Yeah.
But tell me about your friends and family. I mean, how are they really supporting you through all this?
Like you said, my mom's in a small town in California that's 45 minutes away. That she comes up almost every other weekend to see me. Just having her support behind me, that really helps. And then my mom's whole side, so my aunts and some of my uncles are out there in that town as well. As far as my friends go, they're unbelievable. You being one of them. Great guy. You always been there for me in certain situations. And I have a girlfriend back home too, named Sarah. She's always been there for me through the ups and downs, because we go up and down all the time, but that's what relationships go through.
Right.
And but she supported this dream of mine since day one. And rather I need help financially, because some of these trips are paid for me, but I mean, hopefully at the end of all this, it'll be definitely worth it, and I could crack one of these rosters, and then I could look back and just be like, those plane tickets I paid for, like, wow, like I'm making a lot more money now. You know what I mean? Just look back at it. But so yeah, just it's a number of people. I mean, a lot of my teammates that I had that was good friends of mine, like Cameron Oliver. He's no longer in the Reno, but we talk every day. I was just actually texting him before he called, and so like I keep in touch with all these guys, and like I said, just the supporting cast around me really helps me, and really helps me stay motivated to keep going and try to push for this.
Absolutely. And you just had your 24th birthday.
Yep.
Yeah, and you have a kid on the way.
I do not. That's not right now, anyway. So, but
fake news.
Yeah, fake news. 2020 it's a big year for me, though. I want to hopefully, if my financials are right and in place, I want to start something maybe in 2020.
So you do want a family?
Yeah, I do.
Well, how many kids would you want? A boy, girl? What do you want? What do you want?
Well, I mean, a perfect world would give me a boy first.
Right.
I wouldn't mind having a daughter, but if I had a daughter, I would want her to be second or third. If my financials are right and I'm at the spot I'm supposed to be at, I would want 5. But if I'm not where I'm at yet, I'll just stick with 1 for a little bit, 1 or 2.
Right. I think it's stressful. If you have a girl. I mean, having a baby is stressful enough, but if you have a girl, you just think about like. I mean, listen. Every girl yells at you, so you just
right.
What happens if, my wife, my girlfriend's yelling at me and my child? I don't know if I can take it.
Right. Yeah, it's just like too much.
Yeah.
That's where when you see the battered man that's just at the bar, just like, I can't take
Exactly. And I know Sarah. She's wonderful, and she really does have your back. And I think it's nice to have someone that you can trust too. I mean, somebody who's there before the money starts rolling in.
Right, yeah, for sure.
And so, where are you right now?
I'm in Dallas currently.
You're in Dallas, and then you leave to, what would you say, Vegas pretty soon?
No, so I go to DC, Washington, DC on Thursday morning. I'm going out there and working out with one of the other Americans I met out in Israel for a week. And then I'm be going back and forth to New York for workouts too. And then I leave from Washington, DC to go to Canada on June 8th. And my workout with the Raptors is June 9th as of right now, if no changes are made or anything. And then I go to LA on June 10th. So I'm be out in LA for majority of the rest of the summer. And then I go to Vegas July 9th. And then after Vegas, I go back to LA for a little bit. And then I go to Houston August 3rd, and then to Chicago August 10th. So and then that'll probably be the most of my traveling. And if I'm not on the roster yet or going overseas for sure yet, probably go back to Reno and chill for. So
And within that whole time, I mean, you could get any offer, right?
right. Within that whole time, I could get a good offer overseas I might take, or if I get on one of these rosters, I probably wouldn't say I get on the roster by in July or something, like late July or something. I might not even go to the next workouts. I might just go to enjoy some vacation time or something. But if I already know I'm signed with the team, then that's all I need to worry about next.
Right. So it's safe to say the goal is not to come back to Reno.
Yeah, as of right now, it's not to come back to Reno. But I do know after that August 11th workout, I do know they still don't make their decisions until like September, October. Because I got drafted October 30th when I got out of school. So I know it's still a couple more months down the line. So if I don't have a signed, like if I'm not signed by August, I'm probably coming back to Reno for at least a couple of months. So
Okay. Now, it's kind of embarrassing, all the time I spent with you in basketball, but I really don't know. When does that NBA draft start?
NBA draft is actually in June.
Okay.
I believe it's like June 20, high June 20s, on June 25th or 6th or something like that.
Mm.
And a lot of guys, as you know, it's only 60 picks. So it's kind of tough. We got a couple guys from Nevada in there this year, though, that I'm not sure if they're going to stay in the draft or if they're going to pull their name out. But who knows? We'll see.
Can you name drop anyone?
Huh?
Can you name drop anyone?
Yeah, the twins, Caleb and Cody Martin, they're in there. And then Jordan Caroline's in there. But Jordan Caroline just took his name out about 3 days ago. So he's going back to school for the year. And then I still haven't talked to the twins. I talked to the twins. Well, I talked to Cody. I haven't talked to Caleb. I talked to Cody about a week ago, but as of that time, he was in LA working out the Lakers and whatnot, and he said he had a good showing out, and he still doesn't know if he's gonna keep his name in or go back to school. So I haven't talked to him for about a week, but we'll see.
It's been a good year for Nevada, Sweet 16.
Yeah, it's been a great year for him.
Yeah. So, last couple questions. What's if you got drafted, what's your team like? What would be ideal for you?
Honestly, it doesn't really matter. Honestly, for me, I mean, as long as I make it there, and I'm in a good organization, that's all that matters. But if I could pick like a certain team I would like to play for, and not because they're like my favorite team, but I just know that they've been on the down these last couple seasons, and I know they need help. I would probably say like the Chicago Bulls, the teams that were on the top at one time and they just fell off, So I would say Chicago Bulls, the 76ers are coming up. The Nets need help. The Knicks need help. So it's a couple organizations that I know I can help scoring wise, defensive wise. So I hope one of these teams give me a chance.
See, I noticed you didn't mention the Detroit Pistons.
Because I mean, the Detroit Pistons, they're kind of on the bubble. You know, they're not terrible, they're not great yet. But I mean, with the couple trades they've made, I believe they'll be better this coming season because they got Blake Griffin now, and Andre Drummond is playing well always. So
Right. Well, I would just
they might have a turnaround season. Let's see.
right. Well, man, it's a pleasure speaking to you. As always, keep up the grind. And man, I've known you for a long time. I'm gonna get you back on this podcast eventually. You're my first one. Isn't it crazy? You're always my first.
Right.
You're always my first. And speaking of Chicago, I just got back from Chicago. That place was amazing. You've been there, right?
Yeah, I've been there.
Yeah, man. I went to downtown Chicago though, so it was a little nicer. When I think of Chicago, I didn't think of good things, but it was
Right, yeah, because you only hear about the bad.
You really do.
Chicago is really beautiful.
Man, I fell in love with that place. In fact, I wanted to move there, but so someone told me not to get caught in the trap. They have like a lot of bad winters. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Chicago's like anywhere in the Midwest. The winters are tough. The summers are super hot. But I mean, at the end of the day, if you can handle the weather, the downtowns, the amount of activities you could do, just unlimited.
Yeah.
So,
well, wherever you end up, I look forward to you moving, Sarah and myself up there. All right, man. Well, shoot me a text with this pod. You'll promote this podcast. You'll do that for me. You'll put it on your Instagram or Twitter or something like that. I know you will.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
All right, man. Love you.
All right, love you.
All right. Well, that was a good episode. Yeah. There's not much about that guy that I don't already know, but I definitely got to give that guy a shout out. I'm really proud of him in his career. He's an excellent basketball player. He's you ever heard of people who will go to like a bar and then they'll con people in playing pool? I con people into playing basketball. I'm like, you and my boy, 2-on-2, $100. They're like, oh yeah, I got you. And then he, Tyron Criswell shows up. We call him TC. TC shows up. Yeah, I won that $200. And I say I won it because I did not tell TC that there was money on the line, or he would have, I would have had to split that. But anyways, it was a good episode. Really thank him for being on the. It's nice to just talk to your friends, and just learn more about them. Him and I, men, we don't really. We say, hey, what's up? How you doing? And talk about ladies and drinking and things like that. But, it's nice to just say, how are you doing? What's going on in your life? And I feel like I really got that today. Anyways, guys, once again, thank you for listening to today's episode. And if you support the app in any way or want to support our mental health app that we're currently in development for, go ahead and under this video, there'll be a link to support the podcast. Any small donation helps. You can find me on Instagram, Kendall Donaker. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. And until next time, we stand together, we vent together. VentPack.